This program is recorded and presented by Chippewa Valley Community Television. The audio for this program can be heard on WRFP LP 101.9 FM.
Chippewa Valley Community Television presents Your Local Race. Meet the Candidates 2016.
Hello, I'm Bob Brown, News Director at Chippewa Valley Community Television, and welcome to another installment of our series of interviews with candidates for the Eau Claire School Board. Today, we'll be speaking with Carolyn Barstad. Carolyn, thank you for being here today.
I'm happy to be here.
Why don't we start by having you introduce yourself to the voters? Tell them, some people, I know a lot of people in town may know you. You've been here a long time resident.
I certainly
But
have.
there's many voters who don't, so why don't you tell them a little bit about yourself?
Okay, all right. I moved to Eau Claire when I was a year old from Shawano, Wisconsin. My dad actually moved because of his job and started working for ordnance at the Uniroyal Company. It wasn't Uniroyal back then, but during World War II. And so I've been here since I was a year old. I'm 74 years old. I will be 75 on April 5th, which is the day that you should vote for me, I hope. I grew up in Eau Claire. I went to, Lincoln School for kindergarten and Randall School for 1 through 6. I went to the old Central, or it wasn't even called Central, it was called Eau Claire Junior High School, because everybody went to that school at that time. There was no north, south, east, west. It was all Eau Claire Junior High School, and that was on the corner of 4th Avenue and Lake Street. My family lived right across the street from that building on the corner of 4th Avenue and Lake Street, and that was where I did most of my growing up. Then I, from there, went to what is now the Board of Education building and went to 2 years, freshman, sophomore year, and then we all transferred to Memorial when Memorial High School opened. And so I was at Memorial for my junior and senior year, second class to graduate from Memorial High School. That makes that a very old building at this point, because that was, as of 2019, will be 60 years ago.
But then later you came to work for the school district, correct?
And then I did. Then I stayed in Eau Claire. I'm a real Eau Claire product. I stayed in Eau Claire, went to UW Eau Claire, graduated in English and Phi-Ed, and started teaching English at Cadott because I graduated in 3.5 years. And so I had an opportunity to teach for a semester at Cadott, which was a really good experience for me. I liked it a lot. Then in the fall, I was hired at Central Junior High and was an English teacher and guidance counselor there for about 10 years. And the hard part for me was that at that point, counselors were also teachers at the same time. And so there were days that I would have kids in, and they'd be in my office crying, and the bell would ring, and I'd have to go to class, which didn't work for me too well. So I transferred back into straight English for a while and was at DeLong, and then I went to Memorial as a counselor and was there for about 10 years, and then I transferred back to DeLong and ended my career with about 10 years at North High School, which was really great for me too. I had a real diverse career in the city, so I think I know the schools really well because I have stuck with it, and I've been at almost all the board meetings for the Eau Claire School District for several years.
Well, if you know, from attending those meetings, I'm sure you're aware of the ongoing fiscal challenges that the district is facing.
Definitely.
Do you have any new ideas that you could bring to the board in terms of how to deal with those kinds of fiscal issues that are always facing them?
I wish I had. It would certainly be nice if I could give you a scenario and say, we need to do this, we need to do that. I think our hands are tied in some ways because of the voucher system. I really disagree with that whole system. I think that if people are going to public schools, they should go to public schools. And if people choose to go to private schools, I don't think that they should have support from the state taxation system to do that.
Okay.
So I really disagree with the voucher system. But I think that we have a wonderful system in Eau Claire. The problem is trying to take taxpayers' money to pay for our schools, at the same time pay for vouchers and other things that the state has mandated.
Well, how do you feel about the school board is now considering going to the voters with a referendum in November? Are you supportive of that idea?
Absolutely. I've been at all the referendum meetings.
Okay.
I absolutely believe we need this. I don't think that we can do the things for our kids that we need to do if we don't have that referendum and have it pass.
Okay. Do you have ideas for the board in terms of how to gain enough support from the public to pass that referendum?
Yes. There is a group of people who've been meeting, and I've been meeting with the group, talking about the referendum and how best we can get the word out to the public about what's happening and how badly we need the money from the referendum to pay for not only the different schools and classes and so on and so forth, but the staff in the Eau Claire School District has been frozen at one pay level for the last 3 years and has had no kind of increment in their pay. And that's wrong. That's totally wrong.
So if you are elected to the board, what would your approach be to balancing the conflicting realities of budget constraints and what the people whose children are going to the school or the taxpayers who support the school district, what they want from the district? How do you balance that? What the wants and
really
needs?
Hard. It's really hard because as I say, I've been going to board meetings and looking at the needs of the school district to keep in place the teachers we need, and I'm a real advocate for smaller classes, particularly at the elementary level. I just feel so strongly that those kids need smaller classes. When I was counseling, another counselor and I did a follow-up on dropouts, and you could tell by third grade and the records of the kids who the potential dropouts might be.
Right.
That elementary is so important, and we can't put 30 or 35 kids in an elementary class and expect that they're going to get the individual attention and so on that they need.
Well, it sounds like from what you've said, you're seeing many of the school board meetings, you've seen how they operated, and you're supporting the referendum and some of the other issues that the actions the board have taken. Any actions you've noticed in recent time that the board has taken that you've strongly disagreed with?
I really don't think so.
Okay. Any suggestions for how the board itself, or are there any district changes to board policy or district policies that you'd like to see enacted by the board? Changing the way they operate, or the way any aspects of the way the schools are run that you'd like to see modified in some way?
I don't think so at this point. Now, maybe if I were on the board and knew some of the inside kinds of things and
Right.
such, I might feel differently about that. We as a group who are watching the board through their meetings are given a chance at the end of the meetings to say whatever we would like to say. So I often speak at the end of the meetings and say, I feel you might want to look at this, or you might want to think about that.
Sure.
But overall, I think the people on the Board of Education are really dedicated people. I don't think people generally have any idea how much time they put in.
Right.
And what a great job they do of trying to advocate for the kids. They're really dedicated.
Well, in the brief time we have left, is there any final things about yourself that you'd like the voters to have in their minds as they go to the polls on April 5th, on your birthday?
I guess I would like you to remember that I have lived here all my life. I care greatly about Eau Claire. And I care greatly about our schools and the children coming into our schools who need a wonderful education for their lives ahead. And I would like you to think about that and think what an important part of this city and those children's lives the schools really are.
Okay, Carolyn Barstad, I thank you very much for joining us today, and happy birthday on April 5th. On Carolyn's birthday, we hope you will all do your civic duty and get out there and vote.
This program was recorded and presented by Chippewa Valley Community Television. Chippewa Valley Community Television is made possible by continuing community support. If you would like to volunteer or make a donation, you can contact us by calling 715-839-5067 or on the web at www.cvctv.org.